Hello everyone, I am Dr. Samina and welcome to our channel Homeopathy World. In this video, we are going to discuss Indian Evidence Act 1872. If you are new to my channel, please remember to subscribe to my channel and click on the bell icon to get the notification on our latest updates. And also don't forget to share our video with your friends and colleagues. So Indian Evidence Act 1872. As usual, we are going to discuss the title, extent and commencement of the Act, followed by some popular definitions that are used in this Act along with the clause of this Act. So let us see the title, extent and commencement of the Act. This Act may be called the Indian Evidence Act 1872. It extends to whole India except for the personnels working in Army, Navy and Air Force. As you all know that Army, Navy and Air Force are having their own intelligence agencies who can investigate the matters concerned with their personnels, and they also go for some secret missions which cannot be discussed in public. So these Army, Navy and Air Force personnels are accepted from this particular act. The commencement of this act was from 1st September 1872. Now let us see some important definitions of this particular act. The first definition that we are going to see is called as fact. Fact is anything which is capable of being perceived by the senses. So anything which we can feel by our senses is known as a fact. Now the second definition is relevant fact. So when one fact is connected with the other fact in such a way that it is said in the provisions. So any fact which is relevant or is connected to another fact is known as a relevant fact. The fact in issue is any fact which is denied in any suit or proceeding. So any fact which is denied, but it has to be proved that it exists, is called as a fact in issue. Okay, so that fact is to be proved. That fact is called as a fact in issue. The next definition is evidence. So anything which includes all statements which the court permits or requires to be made before it by witness, or all documents that are produced for the inspection of the court, these are known as the documentary evidence. The next definition is proved fact. So when, after considering the matters before the court either believes that it exists or considered its existence to act upon the supposition that it exists. So anything which the court believe exists is called as the proved fact. Okay, so the court agrees that this is true or this exists, so that is called as a proved fact. Now disproved fact is just opposite to the proved fact. Anything which the court believes that does not exist, considered its existence null or non-existent to the act upon the supposition that it does not exist. Means anything which a court believes it does not exist is called as a disproved fact. Now there is a fact which is called as a not proved fact. So this means that it is neither proved nor disproved fact. May presume. The act that court may presume a fact, it may either regard the fact as proved until it is disproved. So any fact which the court regards as proved until it is disproved, then it is called as may presume. So the next definition is conclusive proof. So when one fact is declared by this fact to be conclusive proof of another proof of one fact, then it is regarded that other as proved and shall not allow evidence to be given for the purpose of disproving it. Okay, so suppose if a person commits crime and leaves the country, first he is spotted in the CCTV of the airport, then we have his boarding pass, and then we see him in the CCTV of the destination airport, but his lawyer tries to prove that he was in the same city when the act was committed, and after that also he continued to stay in the same city. But here we have evidence, a documentary evidence along with another CCTV or video footage of him being in another country. So this is a conclusive proof that he was in another country after committing the crime. So here one fact is declared by the fact to be conclusive proof of another proof of one fact regarding that shall not allow any evidence to be given for the purpose of disproving that he was in another city, because we have evidential proof, we have video proof, so he will not be allowed to disprove the fact that he was present in the another country. Okay, I hope you understood this point of conclusive proof. Okay, now next we are going to talk about relevancy of the facts. Now fact, but how these facts are relevant and what is the importance of these facts in the Indian Evidence Act. So first is the facts which are not in issue but connected to the fact in issue and form the part of the same transaction. So suppose the fact in issue is something which is to be proved, okay, which is waiting to be proved. Here, suppose the bystander or somebody who is a partner in the crime, the fact which are not in the issue, his name is not connected to this particular fact in issue, but if that part is proved, this part also will be proved. So this forms a part of the same transaction. Okay, so the fact in issue, even if some facts are connected to the fact in issue but are not the fact in issue but can prove the part of the crime. Okay, so the second is facts which are in occasion, cause or effect immediate of relevant fact or facts in issue which constitute the state of things under which they happen. Suppose person A is robbing person B. Now person B says that person A knew that I had 4 lakh rupees. Suppose he is his friend, so he had showed him 4 lakh rupees, and then person A has robbed person B of all 4 lakh rupees. So person B can say that this is a relevant fact that he knew that I had that much sum of money. Okay, so this is a relevant fact. Another relevant fact can be, suppose if person A is needing the same amount of money for some other transaction. Suppose he wants to take admission for his or her daughter, okay, or son in a college, and they want 4 lakh rupees. But this particular person B had 4 lakh rupees, and then suddenly he got robbed of this 4 lakh rupees. So person A knew that person B had 4 lakh rupees and person A wanted 4 lakh rupees, exact amount of money for his son's or daughter's admission. So this can be a relevant fact that he might have robbed, might have. Okay, so here it is, until it is disproved, it is assumed to be proved. Okay, so here it can be called as a relevant fact. Okay, now next is, any fact is relevant which shows or constitutes a motive or preparation for any fact in issue or relevant fact. Same thing, if suppose person A has murdered person B, and in the will of person B he has given all his property to person A. Okay, now only person A is having the motive of killing person B because he will get all his money. So this motive can become a relevant fact. Okay, so why someone else will kill person B if they are not getting the money? Okay, until and unless they have some enmity towards the person B, they should have some motive, right? So person A had the motive because his will had all his money given to person A. So he killed him so that all his money should go earlier to him, right? Or same happens in the insurance clause. Okay, husband writes all his insurance money to his wife, and then wife plans with someone XYZ to kill the husband, and then once the husband is murdered, all the insurance money goes to the wife. So here the wife is having the motive. Okay, so this can become a relevant fact. Now the fact necessary to explain or introduce a fact in issue or relevant fact or to support it. Same thing. Now if when I spoke about the husband and wife insurance case, Here the insurance money which is going to go to this wife, the documents of this insurance can become the relevant fact or the documentary evidence in this particular case. Okay, so it becomes a relevant fact to the fact in issue. Fact in issue is the murderer. Who is the murderer of this person A? And his wife is a suspect. And here the documentary evidence is the insurance papers, which can become the relevant fact. So when two or more persons have conspired together to commit an offense, anything said or done or written by any one of such persons is a relevant fact against each of them who were conspiring. So the same case, person A was killed by person B, who is the wife of person A, along with some XYZ person, as I said. So if this XYZ person gets scared, okay, and goes to the police and says, see, this particular person had come to me, his wife had come to me, and I conspired with her to kill the husband. So this particular XYZ person has given in writing to the police that I conspired with her to kill the husband. So both of them are the conspirators of this murder. So anybody who admits to the crime or being a partner in the offense or partner in the crime becomes a relevant fact against the fact in issue. Again, the fact in issue being the murder of the person A. Okay, and the relevant fact is the written evidence of the person who conspired or is a partner in the offense. Okay, now facts not otherwise relevant are relevant when it is inconsistent with any fact in issue or relevant fact, and if by themselves or in connection with other facts makes its existence or non-existence probable. Suppose if person A is accused of murdering person B, but person A was spotted in some other city by the CCTV cameras. So obviously, if at the same time the person B was in some other city and person A was in some other city, A cannot kill B from another city, right? Now that is another thing that he might have said someone else or set someone else to kill. But personally, if you're accusing person A to kill person B, but person A was in another city and person B was in another city, so this becomes a relevant fact whose existence and non-existence are giving out by themselves. So it need not to be proved. Okay. So this is evident. This is an evident fact. You need not prove it. Once you showed that he was in Calcutta and he was in Bombay, you need not prove that he did not kill him. So that becomes obvious. Okay. So that is a fact not otherwise relevant are relevant. Okay. In suits where damages are claimed, any fact which will enable the court to determine the amount of damages are relevant. So suppose factory is burnt. Okay, there was fire in the factory. So now the damages that are claimed should have some documentary evidence, like the machine purchase bills, some other bills, some other things. Then that becomes relevant. Okay. So when there is a question whether an act was accidental or intentional. So if somebody burns his own house for insurance money. Okay. So here the question is whether it was accidental or it was intentional. Okay. So whether he intentionally burned his own house for the insurance money or whether it was purely accidental. That is a fact in issue. Okay. So when there is a question whether a particular act was done, the existence of any course of business according to which it naturally would proceed. So if suppose there is a letter posted. Okay. So the letter is posted, then it is dispatched, then it is reached. So this is the natural process of the letter. If somebody tampered this process, okay, if the letter is posted and it was not dispatched or it did not reach the person, then the tamper state of this process is also a relevant fact. That somebody tried to tamper the regular process of this particular act. Now the admission. Admission is a statement or oral or documentary proof which suggests any interference as to any relevant fact. Statement made by the persons whose position or liability it is necessary to prove against the party of the suitor if such statement is to be relevant taken into consideration. So it seems like a third witness. So if two persons are there, one is accused and one is the victim, then the third person, whoever gives the witness, becomes a liability. Okay. Admissions are relevant and may be proved as against the person who makes them, but they cannot be proved by the person who makes them, except admissions may be proved if person making it were dead. So if somebody said that I have done the crime and he died after that, so that admission proves to be correct. Okay. Or admission that may be proved if relevant otherwise. So if suppose somebody says that I only killed that person and that person was actually present there, or some proof that he was present there, then that admission is to be relevant. I hope this lecture was understood by you. It was a very important lecture, and it is a little bit confusing with all the facts and everything, but you have to go through this video again and again to understand the facts in the whole Indian Evidence Act. Okay. If you have any doubts, please mention in the comment section below, and also make sure that you complete your assignments. Okay. Thank you for watching this video.